And here's what it would have looked like if I used my tool correctly here. We've got 2 times 7, which we said was 14. I'll go ahead and do that. 2 groups of 7 is 14, but remember we had to add a group. So I added a group using my slider tool here, when all I really had to do was hit add a group, and it adds it in color, just like you would do with your colored pencils. Okay? So our helper fact is 2 times 7 is 14. We know we added one more group of 7, so 14 plus 7. I added one group of 7. New number model would be, you could do 2 times 7 in parentheses. That means you do it first and all by itself, and then add another 7. That could be your number model. Or you could have said 14 plus 7. Or, of course, you could have said 3 times 7. So there's a bunch of different number models you could have used to get the answer to that one. Go ahead, if you haven't already, work on number 2, and I'll come back and show you the answers to number 2 as well. Okay, number 2, which is on page 91, says, suppose you do not know the answer to 6 times 3. You're going to use your helper fact of 5 times 3. Well, we should know that 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so that's 5 groups of 3 is 15. And here's how you'd make that as an array, right? 5 rows and 3 in each row. Remember, the first number is always how many rows you have. Second number is how many items in each row. So now all we need to do is add a group, right? We have 5 groups of 3. We want 6 groups of 3. So we're adding one more group of 3, which would look like, I don't know why that's not nice and neat. Those 2 should be moved up here, right? But 3 more X's, and if you're using a colored pencil, you'd use a different color. So now, 15, we had 15 before, 5 times 3, plus one group of 3. Well, 15 plus 3 more is 18. And 6 times 3 does equal 18. Let's check to make sure we get everything correct, and we did. Okay, so we used our helper fact of 5 times 3 is 15 to figure out what 6 times 3 was. One more 3, one more group. 15 plus 3 is 18. 6 times 3 is 18. Here's a bonus one. Take a look at this. I'm trying to solve 6 times 7. So this could be like your try this at the bottom of page 91. I'm trying to solve 6 times 7. That's a fact that we don't have memorized yet. Well, what's a helper fact for 6 times 7? Well, we know our 5s, right? So how about 5 times 7? 5 times 7, we should know, is 35. Okay? So then my tool here does all the work for me. It makes a 5 by 7 array. It tells me that 5 groups of 7 is 35. Well, guess what? We want 6 groups of 7. So we have to add one more group of 7. And again, I don't know why it doesn't do it nice and neat, but one more group of 7 would be 35 plus one more group of 7. Well, 35 plus 7, 6 times 7, in other words, is 42. And I know that because I have it memorized. I worked really, really hard when I was a 3rd grader, and it wasn't easy, but I got all my facts memorized, and then I haven't forgotten them since. And that's what you can do too. But anyway, 5 groups of 7 is 35. So we take our 35, we add one more group of 7. 35 plus 7, equals 42, not 422. Let's check our work. It's correct. Okay, so that's it. Again, using a helper fact, a fact we know, and adding a group to it to figure out one that we don't know. Let's try a even more difficult one just to show you that this will work for lots of different problems. We're going to do 9 times 7. Okay. Our helper fact is going to be 9 times 5 because we should know our 5s. 5 times 9 is 45. Here's how we're going to use an array to help us solve it. And to save time and just to show you a different way to do it, I'm not going to use an array. I don't feel like drawing all those little X's out. Instead, I'm going to kind of use my turnaround rule here. My helper fact is 9 times 5, but instead of making 9 groups of 5, I'm going to make 5 groups of 9. It's going to save me some time, and it's the same thing, really. So here's 1, 2. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Let me fix that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 9. I had 5 in there before. I had 5 groups of 5. It's 5 groups of 9. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 9s. And we know that 9 times 5 is 45, or using the turnaround rule, the commutative property of multiplication, I can also say 5 times 9 is 45. Now, I have 5 groups of 9. I need 7 more. I need 7 groups in total, so I need 2 more groups. So to make 2 more groups, I'm going to use my red color to see that I'm adding groups. I'm adding 2 more groups. Now, if you don't know what 9 times 7 is, then you can use your helper fact to help you figure this out. So your helper fact would be 9 times 5 is 45. So you could say 45 plus, well, you could say plus 9, but we know that 9 plus 9 is 18. So 45 plus 18. 40 plus 10 is 50. 5 plus 8 is 13. 50 plus 13 is 63. So that's how you can use 9 times 5 is 45 to help you figure out that 9 times 7 is 63. So let's review. Let's summarize our lesson. How do you know whether a fact is a helper fact for you? Well, a helper fact has to be one you can answer quickly, has to be an easy fact, and it has to be one that you know the answer to. Okay? So that's why it's important. You're going to get tired of hearing me say this. That's why it's important to memorize those multiplication facts. Right now, you should have times 2s, times 5, and times 10s as helper facts. Hopefully, you're all working on times 3s and then times 4s. You'll have all of those as helper facts. All right? So keep working on those multiplication facts, and then you can use the ones that you automatically know, the ones you have memorized, as helper facts for you to figure out ones that you don't know yet. All right, everybody, I'm going to teach you how to play a fun, cool math game. That'll be the best game you've ever played in your life, I bet. It's called Multiplication Draw. It's in Student Reference Book, page 248, but I don't think you'll need to go to that today because I'm going to show you how to play it. First of all, I'm going to show you how to play it using your online everyday math tool. So if you click on your activity kit, then you go to eToolkit. And from your eToolkit, if you click eTools, you're going to need 2 things in this game. You're going to need your card deck, your everyday math card deck. But we don't need all cards. So you're going to click right here, and you're going to click 0 to 10, 1 of each. Okay? And then you can drag your cards up there. And there you go. You have your cards now for the game. And I just found out I was wrong. That's not the deck we need, so I'm going to put those in the trash. We need 0 to 10, 4 of each. So choose 0 to 10, 4 of each. Yes, that's okay. And then if you drag it up, now we've got only 0 through 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's going to be 4 10s, 4 9s, 4 8s, 4 zeros. You get the idea. And now we also need another tool. We need some dice. So I'm going to click on dice. Now, this is kind of weird. We need a special kind of die. And so I'm going to use our dice maker. I'm going to drag that up. And what we need is, we need a 6-sided die with 2 2s. So watch this. You can make your own die. I'm going to drag the 2, and I'm going to drag another 2 here. So side 1 has a 2, side 2 has a 2. We need 2 5s. So I'm going to take the 5. I'm going to put it on side 3 and side 4. Now, we also need 2 10s. Well, guess what? This doesn't go up to 10. It only goes up to 9. See, this 3 by 3 array is 9. But we're going to use the 9-sided die, the 9-dot side, and we're going to call that 10 today. Okay, so we're going to have 2 2s, 2 5s, and 2 9s. But whenever a 9 comes up, We're going to call it a 10. All right. Click create. And I can get rid of this. And when we roll this, you'll see that it's only going to come up. That's a 10, even though it's 9. We're going to call it a 10 for this game. It's only going to come up 10s, 2s, and 5s. Where's my 5? Come on, give me a 5. Give me a 5. Uh-oh. Did I do something wrong? Nope, there's a 5. Okay, so those are the things we need for this game. We also need this, which your teacher may hand out to you, a multiplication draw record sheet. Okay, so if you have your cards, your die, and your record sheet, you are ready to play the game. And here's how it works. You can see on the record sheet, we've got partner 1, partner 2, and we've got 5 different draws, okay? You're trying to get the highest score you can get. So let me show you how it would go. If I were player 1 or partner 1, my first draw, this is how it works. I'm going to shuffle them first. Okay, now I'm going to take 1 card off the top. Whoops, deal. So I get a 3, and I'm going to roll the die. And those are my 2 factors. Remember, that's a 10. So my 2 factors are 3 times 10. I'm going to write that in. 3 times 10. Now, we should know that because we've memorized our 10s, right? 30. Now it's partner 2's turn if you're playing against somebody else. So partner 2 would roll the die and deal the card. They have a, wait a minute. Yeah, they have a 1 and a 10. So they'd come over here. Their first draw is a 1 and a 10. And of course, 1 times 10 is 10. And you keep going until you get 5 draws apiece for round 1. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add up all of your totals. So I'm just going to make up some numbers here. I'll make them nice and easy. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus 2 is 82. And then your partner would add up all of their scores, their 5 scores. And whoever has the highest score wins. So the important thing is really that you're practicing your multiplication facts. And right now, because we only have 2, 5, and 10 on our die, we're practicing our 2, 5s, and 10s. You could change the die and play the game to practice 3s if you wanted to, or 4s, or any number you want. You just have to modify your die. Okay, so remember, this would be 4 times 10. I'd record the 4 and the 10 as my 2 factors, 40 as my product, and then I'd move on and let my partner take their turn. 7 times 5. So they'd write down 7 and 5 as their 2 factors and 35 as their answer. And when you get done a round, you add up all of your products to get your total, see who wins the round, and then you can go on and play round 2. Have fun playing multiplication draw. Okay, now it is time to work on your math boxes for this lesson. So the math boxes are on page 92. And there are 5 of them to work on.